Hey guys, it's Kinda here and Twitter back with a new video on this channel. And well, out of the many things we've done during quarantine, one of them is watching anime. And a certain movie has finally been released to the general public after so many years. We have been waiting for it. And that movie is being the final installation of the Evangelion Rebuild series, also known as Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0. And when I say we've been waiting for so long, I mean we have been waiting for so long. After so many delays from either the production or COVID, mostly COVID, it has finally been released for us to finally watch. Well, first in Japan. And we had to wait for a couple months for it to finally be able to be viewed by the rest of the world using Amazon Prime. Yeah, I use Amazon Prime. And after watching the movie, I'm sure many people have so many different opinions about it. Whether you like it or not, some things you enjoy, some things you didn't. Many things happened during the movie. And I know some are gonna say like, but this part is so confusing. What do I do? Well, it's fucking Hideaki Anno we're talking about. You sound like you've never watched Evangelion before. Well, anyway, don't worry. I will try to help you at least understand a little bit more on the parts you don't understand. But then again, you don't really have to trust me fully on these, cause I am still the naive and dumb 16-year-old, so I might not be the wisest, but I could at least provide some information. And if you haven't realized, I'm a big Eva fan. So this video is going to be a review, an honest opinion, breakdown, explanations, and other stuff that occurred during the movie. So obviously, this is a major, and I mean major, spoiler review. If you still haven't fucking realized it and you haven't watched the movie yet, click away from this video now. And if your only knowledge about Eva is from the Rebuild movies, then I really recommend you to watch the original series first, and then End of Eva. But between those two, take like a good break. Like 1 week is fine. Just trust me. So I'm sure there's going to be a lot of questions you're going to ask, so let's cut to the chase and let's start with the video. So we start off with a recap of like the past movies, because it has been that long. And then going to the first actual part of the movie, we have the new organization I don't know how to pronounce it, where Ritsuko and her gang attempts to purify the world to bring it to its original state, while being attacked by their old organization Nerve. From flying ships to weird walking Eva models, yeah, you can't really expect me to explain that. And at the same time there, or I think it is, Asuka is bringing Rei and Shinji to the area where their friends are grown up as adults, because as we found out from the last movie, it has been a 14-year gap, if I'm not wrong. It was about a 14-year gap when Shinji was asleep, and honestly I think it's a good touch to put, as in End of Eva, we literally had no idea what happened to their classmates. Oh, never mind, I see it, there they are. But all jokes aside, we were able to see Toji as a doctor marrying the class president. I don't remember her name. And there's also Kensuke, who is a survival expert, and somehow has been called Kenken by Asuka. Something happened during those 14 years. But the Shinji and Rei, well, Shinji still being depressed. Rei learns, well, how humans live, and the emotions they give off, the phrases they say to each other, and pretty much learning to become more human than how robotic she was before. And then we get to the part where Asuka forces Shinji to, like, eat, because he was still very depressed. I mean, if you see your friend get exploded by a fucking collar, then you're bound to get traumatized one way or another. But how bad the way Asuka treated Shinji in that scene, but we see how good the CGI in the movie actually is. I said it 2 times, that means it's really good. Now this is what I call it, good CGI. And when I look at the end credits, and when you see the studios that worked on this movie, there was like Zappa, there was Madhouse, Silverlink, A1 Pictures, Cloverworks, heck, even Cloverworks as well. They were able to produce such a great production in this movie. Obviously, seeing how much Evangelion has given such a big impact on the world, no pun intended. So that makes them really keen on making this movie actually a really great piece of art. And to get Shinji to be less depressed than he was, Kensuke invites him to go to this area where he meets Roji Kaji, which is the child of Misato and Kaji, which is a really surprising thing if you think about it. I know they're in love and stuff. Even in the original series they did show that. Yeah, the fact that they had a child together, and so now we were able to see more of the relationship that Misato and Kaji had. And then we found out how Kadi died, and also Misato like not giving him information that she is his mom, which is really sad thing to learn about, knowing that you have all this burden on yourself and you're trying to not let your son worry. That's a really good touch. We also see those roaming Avas we see in the scene where I think are the people that died during the impact. When you die, you just end up combining each other into this one lifeless being that just roams around the world for many years, which is also a pretty fucked up concept. Then there's also when Rei doesn't really have a name, because, well, the Rei we all know from the first movie kind of died already. Even if that's so, she is still the Rei Ayanami that we all know and love. Even Shinji agrees to that. Then we get to that scene. Oh boy. So, how do I explain this? So from my theory, when Rei, exploded, I think all those clones of Rei Ayanami are programmed to be like emotionless and obedient and supposed to fall in love with Shinji. So from this Rei that has already been exposed with the human life, all the expressions that they all use, the phrases they use to each other, like emotions that they all feel together, I think that passes way off her limits of what the Rei Ayanami system is supposed to handle. And it also kind of relates to the old Rei Ayanami that we got that tried to get Shinji and his dad to have a better relationship. So from we seeing the new Rei now wearing the old plug suit of the old Rei Ayanami, so that means it kind of shows that, well, she now has like feelings of the old Rei Ayanami. And as I said before, it's not really following the Rei Ayanami system, so it leads to her having to self-destruct, because that's not really what the Rei Ayanami is supposed to do. And honestly, that was a really big shock when I saw that in the movie. Now knowing that Rei died, Shinji now has the morale boost and is now determined to help Asuka and Will to help save the world again. Just kind of a cliche concept if you think about it, but fuck it, I'll take it. And then we get to a whole lot of talking. Yeah, I know it was vital to the movie, but yeah, that was a really lot of talking. Then we get to the battle scene where Asuka tries to destroy Ava Unit 13. And we also discover that she can also turn into an angel and using her maximum power to try to destroy Ava Unit 13 AT field, which didn't succeed and ended up dragging Asuka herself into Ava Unit 13. And then we also later found out that Asuka's not really the Asuka that we know from the second movie, because I think it kind of shows that Asuka is also a clone of her own self. So that kind of means Asuka actually died, and then this new Asuka is now a clone of her old self, which is pretty confusing, because then when did she enter Will? But from what we learn, it seems that both of the clones, the Asuka clone and the Rei clone, are programmed to support Shinji for the Instrumentality project, whatever project they're doing right now. Now losing one of the warriors, Nerf now does a counterattack against Will, starting from a Micro 9 model trying to destroy the main ship, which also made them crash. Which then appears Gendo Ikari, Shinji's dad, who I thought died, and also Ritsuko, just like the old End of Favor movie. She shoots him, but this time he doesn't die, because now Gendo Ikari has abandoned his humanity and now has become an angel himself, which is also a pretty typical villain move, but sure, we'll let that slide. Gendo also explains the purpose of the impacts. Second, to purify the ocean. Third, to purify the earth. And fourth, to purify the souls. First, I have no fucking idea. So now Gendo Ikari is able to take control of
Eva Unit 13.
Now having Asuka and Rei in it, and having Mari, which is pretty damaged from the battle. You can't really expect her to fight that thing, so... Which now leads to our last and only hope. Our main character, Shinji Ikari. And I've never seen Shinji look so determined to fight something before. And I honestly feel really proud of him, knowing that he was dragged into all of these problems and became very depressed for a while. And now he's back on his feet, getting ready to fight one of his greatest enemy ever, his own dad. That sounds familiar. Misato also trusts Shinji and gives him one more chance to turn this all back around. Yeah, Misato really looks like a proud mom, even though she already has a kid. And now I also have a lot more respect for her, especially seeing her from the last movie where, yeah, she took a turn. So now Shinji will be battling his dad. So Mari brings him into a close space-time continuum where you can be connected to all the Eva pilots, which is a pretty interesting concept. So using that, he'll be transported into his old Eva. As the battle starts, set in the space-time interval, I'm just gonna call it that. We uncover many of Shinji's past memories with the Eva. Then we discover Dark Lilith that forms into what I could only say a terrifyingly humanoid ray. I've never seen something so bloody horrifying ever in my life. And I also watched this at 3 AM, which is not really a good time to see that thing. Let me tell you, it kind of gave me nightmares. So many Evas ended up turning into white female bodies. I think since Gendo is like the big cahoon of this fourth impact, I think he's trying to form an Eva that looks as close as it could to Shinji's mom, similar to that humanoid ray thing. So the only way for Will to get Shinji back is to, well, damage that humanoid ray thing. So in order to do that, they had to make a new spear using the ship that they had. But the only way to bring that spear to damage humanoid ray was for someone to bring it, and that person being Misato. And Misato made a really great sacrifice there for, well, to give one last hope for humanity to get it back to where it was before. Now seeing the new Shinji, in order to save the world, he is going to confront his dad and have an actual talk. And from there we're able to know more about Gendo's past and why he's doing all of this. We also get to see Mari appearing in one of those memories, which now unveils a new theory for me. Because Asuka and Shinji are Eva pilots at 14, and even after 14 years pass, they still have the body of a 14-year-old. So I'm thinking Mari was a Eva pilot way longer than both of them were. Like, she was 14 back when Gendo was like 14 or something. So other than Shinji's mom, Mari is one of the earliest test subjects to pilot an Eva. So that means she's also one of the survivors when the accident happened with Shinji's mom when she was trying to pilot the Eva, which can also unveil many new questions and possibilities and stuff. But getting back to topic, we now know that Shinji and his dad has a lot of things in common, mostly trying to separate themselves from the world, and his dad looking a lot like Shinji but with glasses. We also learn that, well, Gendo regrets leaving Shinji like that, and he truly really cares for his son. So Gendo Ikari, we put that topic aside, and then Kaoru appears again. Now Shinji tries to rewrite the world to give it like, to try to remove all the Eva aspects and stuff, and now also saving Asuka, Rei, Kaoru as well, also Kaji. I don't know if Kaji survived or not. Last but not least, also saving Gendo Ikari. So for Shinji saving Asuka, we managed to see like a continuation from, well, end of Eva, since many people weren't really satisfied with the ending. Shinji actually not choking Asuka this time, and so Ano Hideaki shows a continuation from that point in time, and finding out that both of them ended up confessing to each other, which also saves Asuka and bringing her back to the real world. As for Rei, we get a flashback of, well, the first ending, and knowing that Rei doesn't want Shinji to pilot an Eva anymore, or at least have anything related to Eva anymore. And so Shinji assures Rei that he will do just that. Shinji then explains to Rei that he will rewrite everything and establish a world without Evas, also known as Neon Genesis. And if you're asking me, is Neon Genesis Evangelion the Neon Genesis he was talking about? No, because clearly that Neon Genesis Evangelion has Evas, and this Neon Genesis is much more different. And then there's Rei saved. And after saving everyone, and now Shinji's going to save the world itself by rewriting it. But in order to do that, he would have to like stab himself with a spear. And when he was just about to do that, Shinji's mom takes over and saves him instead. And then we get to see this really touching moment where Shinji's parents are reunited together again, and destroying anything related to Eva in the process. Now all the Evas are destroyed, Mari saves Shinji, and also destroying her Eva as well, also with the title as The Last Eva. And now, the world is reverting back to its original state. Fast forward, we find a train station and we see an older version of Shinji. On the other platform, we see older versions of Asuka, Rei, and Kaoru as well. Shinji is greeted by Mari, and the movie ends with one last kiss playing in the background. Beautiful song. I'm still getting goosebumps just from thinking of that scene. All in all, the movie is absolutely amazing. I really enjoyed it. Gotten many new opinions of the story, and I think differently of many characters in the show, especially Mari. And honestly, in my eyes, it's a masterpiece. Maybe not the best thing I've ever seen, but it is a masterpiece in its own way. So what you guys think of the movie? Tell me in the comments below whether you liked it or not, whether some things still bothered you, or whether you still have any more questions you want answered. But anyway, that's all the time I have for now. Thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video. Bye!